My name is Heron, and today I'd like to talk to you about a big feeling, or rather, a feeling that is existential of being incredibly small. Do you ever turn on the news and see horrors beyond your comprehension and feel powerless to do anything to stop it? Do you feel helpless or hopeless in a world in which you are just one person among billions? Well, you're not alone. So today, let's sit together for a moment and talk about this. There are billions of people living on our planet. Do you know how big a billion is? It's 1,000 millions. 1 billion seconds makes up approximately 32 years. If you stacked 1 billion pennies on top of each other, it would create a tower nearly 870 miles high. That's about 160 times as tall as Mount Everest. I want to start with this number because I feel like 1 billion is a number that gets thrown around a lot these days, but it is so incomprehensibly massive that it's difficult for us to wrap our heads around. Other than maybe grains of sand, you don't really see a billion of anything, do you? You might think there are about 1 billion grains of rice in this 10-pound bag, but actually, there are about 100,000. It would take 5 to 10,000 of those 10-pound bags of rice to get 1 billion grains. Your brain doesn't understand the difference between one bag and 10,000 bags. They both feel like a very big number, but on some scales, they might as well both be infinity. At this point, you may start to feel like the camera is zooming out away from you, gradually turning the Earth itself into a tiny dot in an infinitely expanding universe. There are 8.3 billion people on Earth. Am I a tiny speck? Am I even visible on the map? There's a term for this experience, which I think is pretty cool sounding. It's called cosmic vertigo, or existential vertigo. If you feel this way from time to time, you aren't alone. The reason it's so jarring stems from the fact that by seeing life through our own two eyes most of the time, we are inevitably the main character of our own story. It's hard enough to understand that other people exist outside of our bubble, that they don't simply stop existing when we walk out of the room. I think sometimes when we face down that existential vertigo, it makes us feel helpless. How can I possibly change the world when I'm not even 1 in 1 billion? So today, I would like to reframe this age-old existential dread. You are a single drop in the ocean, and that's okay. You can't change the world by yourself, so don't try to. Instead, remember that you are connected to billions of other drops. If enough of these drops are moving in the same direction, they can make a wave. This is difficult because it requires a certain kind of faith. You have to trust that many other people also want to change the world for the better. You have to believe that your efforts are being backed up by the collective efforts of your peers, because otherwise, you know that your actions by themselves can't make a meaningful change. That's a tough pill to swallow. We love watching superhero movies and idolizing celebrities and politicians because the idea of one person having the power to fix the world is comforting. But that goes both ways. In superhero movies, there's a villain with the power to destroy the world and a hero with the power to save it. But in reality, there are billions of heroes working together to try to help the world, just as there are billions of misguided villains out there harming the world. Like waves in the ocean, life is a constant back and forth. There will be years or even decades when the water recedes, when it feels like all is lost, when too many evil people manage to gain control. And like waves in the ocean, someday the tide will turn back again. People get fed up with all the evil they see around them, and eventually they choose to move back against it. You are a drop in the ocean, so be the best drop that you can be. Do your part, no matter how small. When you make mistakes, the ocean will cover you. When you can't go on, the ocean will carry you. You don't need to save the world, just do the work when you can. What do we mean by the work? The work will look different for everyone based on their ability. In the case of most people, the work never really changes. Most people will never be a famous politician fighting against global instability and tyranny, but you could be one of the people standing behind them at a protest. You could be a nurse who treats someone who is sick and enables them to get back to their family. You could be a firefighter who saves somebody's home. You could volunteer at a local shelter and help those in need. The same corrupt society which tells us that we're helpless to make meaningful change also tells us that these jobs are worthless and pointless. That you aren't making a lot of money doing something, so the work you're doing isn't important and can never make a difference. That local volunteers are nothing compared to someone with great wealth and power. How could a part-time substitute teacher fight back against international corporations? But they can, by helping to create stronger communities at a local level. Small local grassroots movements have historically had enormous successes. Building up a single local community can create a powerful foundation. It doesn't take the majority of the population working together to make waves. In fact, most successful civil rights movements have involved less than 1% of the population of a country. You don't need 1 billion drops to make a wave. Think more like 1,000, maybe even 12. Your job is not to be the one lone warrior standing out from the crowd. Your job is to find like-minded people and become a part of a community together. In order to create community, we need to learn how to work with others. No more fighting tooth and nail for money or power or status. Not the person who gets the highest grade in class, but the person who starts a study group and helps 3 other people pass an exam when they were struggling. The work is not meant to glorify us, but to raise up our peers. We cannot fight the wave of selfish individualism by becoming the most selfish and individualistic until we reach the top. Looking back down at all the people you had to climb over and fight to be in that position, you will see that you have become a part of the problem. You have joined the side of drops which aim to crush, which destroy. It's time to stop. It's time to rejoin humanity. Creating community means planting trees whose fruit you may not live to eat. It means doing things for others without expecting to receive something in return. It means setting a good example, even if everyone else in the room is doing the opposite. It takes a lot of faith and courage to move in this direction. But in the end, it is far more peaceful and far more enjoyable. You can live for the future without living in the future. Because when the future is not for you, you can keep the present for yourself. You can build up the community around you while being authentic and dancing to your own beat. You can feel fulfilled every day in what you're doing rather than hoping to someday feel fulfilled at an unspoken date by an ever-shifting goalpost. When a firefighter enters a burning building, are they thinking about the size of their own house? When an EMT is performing CPR, are they thinking about their own financial goals? When you choose to focus on the betterment of your community rather than the greatness of yourself, you will be set free from the cage of individualism. Building yourself up will never help you to escape this cosmic vertigo. Even the great pyramids fall into nothingness compared to the vastness of space. There is no future goal you can achieve which will preserve your place in all of history, because even history ends. The pursuit of wealth and fame only takes us further away from the here and now. What if you aren't a seed preparing to blossom into a beautiful flower? What if you are the soil? What if your job is not to reach to the sky to unfold into brightly colored petals, but to be a small rock which stands unwavering to keep the roots in place? Why do we measure our greatness in how much we stand out? In what we can afford to buy? Why do we so rarely measure greatness in how many people's lives have been made better by our actions? Why do we tell our children, "You're so smart, you should work in finance," and not, "You're so kind, you should work in healthcare"? Why do we pay people billions of dollars to poison our water, yet offer little to nothing to those who clean it? The wave of kindness and humility has retreated so far back from the shoreline that many seem to think it has been lost forever. But the ocean doesn't stay stagnant. As one wave retreats, another is building off in the distance. It builds and builds until it comes crashing back with a great force, until it shakes the very ground beneath it and scatters the rocks and sand. Maybe the wave of goodness will not hit the shoreline again in my lifetime, or maybe it will, but the important thing is that I know where I belong. We will keep doing the work, no matter how much ground we lose, because the work needs to be done. We will keep doing the work even if people think we're crazy for doing it. We will keep moving in the right direction against the waves of injustice and cruelty until they tire themselves out crashing on the shore. We will keep doing the work because someday children will be alive to bear witness to it. The work is often mundane. It's the same day after day. It doesn't come with flashy promises of personal glory or achievement. The work is helping our elderly neighbors mow their lawn. The work is teaching children in our district how to read. It's showing up to protests when everyone else has gone home already. It's showing up to vote even knowing we very likely won't get what we voted for. The work is cooking dinner for your friend who's been sick. It's making art which feeds our inner child and keeps us moving with the will to go on. It's reaching out to someone who's having a hard time even when you aren't sure what to say. The work is fighting for a better world even as the world around you keeps getting worse. Doing these things sounds demotivating. How can we show up day after day watching the work we do be overturned by this powerful wave we can't control? But when you start doing the work, you will remember how to be a human again, how to appreciate the imperfection, how to survive and thrive in the face of adversity. Because when you take up your spot within your community, you will finally know what it feels like to be a part of something greater than yourself. All the success, money, and status in the world would be instantly meaningless if not for the people around you. Who will congratulate you when you're the last person standing? Whose children will play in the water after you've poisoned it? Who will love you after you've destroyed their home? Who will respect you when you're feared by all? Our place is not up in the stars, alone in the vast emptiness of space, seeking fame and glory in isolation. Our place is right here, in the ocean, which covers our planet in a thick blanket, feeding and nurturing all life. We are a part of the earth, which in turn is a part of us. We have the power to make it better, right here and now. Take a small step backwards, and then another, and another. Walk back into the ocean until the water covers your face, until it covers your nose and seeps under your eyelids. Let the water take you, and let the waves bring you back home. You don't need anything more than what you have in order to be complete. You just need to reach out your hand and touch it. You are a drop in the ocean, contained, connected, surrounded by the water, immersed in the world. Let that world feed you as you feed it. Become a part of the wave. Thank you for sitting with me for a minute today. I hope this helped. If you'd like to support a small, broke, independent artist, please consider subscribing or sharing this video with others. As always, take care, y'all. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.